That's what we perceive. That's what we know of them, then, versus knowing.
But those words don't really describe what's going on there, I have to say.
Okay.
You know, that doesn't describe it. There is not a continuity of mind stream from one lifetime to another. There's not something that isn't it. That's not, whatever's going on there, that's not describing it. But yet,
there's a picture we can see.
There is a manifest aspect of Buddhahood presencing itself apparently lifetime after lifetime in some temporal sequence, and there's a continuity of knowledge, of awareness that accompanies it. That's pretty vague. But I'm trying to dance here.
Did you just say that what we perceive as mind, Joe's mind,
yes,
which is really Joe's mind and everybody else's mind, but right now it's Joe's mind, that as Joe reincarnates, it's not the same, Joe's mind?
Whatever we mean by Joe's mind is not what's operating there. But that's true about everything we think about mind. We think about mind as something possessed by somebody called you or me or Joe or Buddha. And, you know, mind reality as the scope, mind in its big mind is all of mind reality. But you see, we can't perceive that from the sense of holding to a separate sense of self and other. That's the problem. That's what makes it seem that the only way to understand mind is as a subject that can then perceive an object.
Then why don't we all agree? Or do we?
Our true nature does.
Is there any place in this for the reason that the Buddha, I don't know if I'm getting this exactly, but had like 84,000 different ways of teaching, that if you don't have an identity, that would be part of not having an identity, is that...
no, but you're close to something, and so I'll say no as it's no, and then say yes to what's correct. The Buddha taught 84,000 different methods, as it is said, because to address the various kinds of confusion for all sentient beings. Essentially, 84,000 methods of kinds of confusion would require 84,000 different methods of teaching. But you were close to something. The reason that there are so many Buddhas in the Vajrayana perspective of Buddhism is that there are so many different manifest ways for the truth to express itself. And there is not one Buddha. And yet, they are not different. And of course, that's the mystery. How is there a single true nature with diverse expression? You get that?
If you have no identity, then you might be able to do that.
Yes, you might.
Well then, just if you have no identity, what is happening for that, karmic action of past life, doesn't like creating karma, having it coming forward?
Because we believe it is operating, and therefore it's operating. It's as much caught in the whole pattern of identity as anything is.
So it's like being in the bottle. It's like part of the bottle.
Yes, it's a paradigm of the bottle. She's referring to samsara as a bottle with a cork in it, and that you can roam around the different realms of samsara, high and low, but until the cork comes out of the bottle, you don't have the possibility of escaping. It's a paradigm. Karma only operates within samsara. It's a paradigm of samsara, which is all based on identity, self-other, all the concretizing, behavior. Karma is part of that problem. But in fact, it's not true. when you are done believing that it's true and feeling that it was true, I mean, until you are done with it, it feels as if it's true. And it gives rise to your reality. But it isn't fundamentally true. And the whole process of interdependent connection, that is a set of processes conditioning other processes karmically, is as inseparable from emptiness as everything else is inseparable from emptiness. You know, it's not, we don't have emptiness over here, and then we have, oh yes, in fact, there's something that isn't empty, it's in fact true, it's called interdependent arising. No way. I hasten to point out that as long as you are caught in a samsaric reality, state of mind, karma does operate, and you should have a lot of respect for it. I don't want anybody to mistake what I just got through saying and say, oh, you know, Lama said karma is empty, as if you could dismiss it. On the relative level, it hurts, to put it in simple terms. On the absolute level, there's nothing there. But that doesn't make the dream go away.
I sort of have a question, and you've addressed it, but I'm curious if I'm clear about it. When you allow something to move through and you don't grasp it or cling to it, does that clear the karma off that?
It's taking some of the weight off it, and then you have to do it repeatedly until all of the habit is gone. So the first time you're meditating and now you know to practice with your anger and let it go, doesn't mean it's the last time you're going to experience anger, because you have a backlog of that pattern. So you let it go once, and the next time it comes up, get ready, let it go again, and let it go again. And you know, and you start to realize that, as you and I were talking at lunch, the content stops being important, because you have a context within which to release every single content that comes up. And so you stop putting so much weight on the content being true and real, even if it's the 10,000th time it's come up to be dealt with in authentic practice. Fine. 10,001. Let it go. 10,002. Let it go until you are done. And the thing is, you will notice that the habit patterns will diminish as you let them go. If you don't indulge in them or suppress them, you are going to take momentum out of the pattern, and it will diminish. And you'll work on subtler and subtler karmic levels until you are done. All right, we good? Golden. All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Take it with you. It takes practice. I wanted to get to some other things, but we didn't get to. But it's all good. There's plenty to work with.
I don't want it to be over.
It won't be over if you practice.
Can you please reiterate the technique one more time? Just the breathing technique.
Sure.
Real shortly.
Attend to the breathing process and start to lower your psychophysical focus of your breathing into the lower abdomen. So that's where you breathe to and from. And you're looking for a natural way the body calls you to breathe in and out, as opposed to a conceptualized version of what you should or shouldn't do. You can help get a sense of where you're breathing to by swallowing saliva after the in-breath, by tensing the muscles on the in-breath, the pelvic floor muscles and the diaphragm above. It gives you a context within which to experience the mouth expanding on the in-breath. You're breathing through the nose. Relax everything above the diaphragm so it's very calm and relaxed, not holding any tension. This is where the holding that you're doing is gentle, but it gives you a focus. It'll take a while to have that sort of manifest as the presence of phase breathing. You fill up that in a way that's comfortable without being excessive. And slowly you develop a capacity to do it in a very slow and gentle way. That place where it's naturally full. And first you would just exhale, letting go of the muscle tension that you helped create that phase with, letting go of the breath. It seems to flow right through you, through all of the dimensions of your being, right out through all of your pores. As you got familiar with that, then you would add a retention, so you breathe in. Relax everything up above, retain to the point where you think it's not comfortable anymore. Let it go. A nice complete out breath where you see the stomach muscle of the stomach, cave in is effective, because then the next breath will come up automatically. And as you get used to that threefold cycle of in-breath, retention, and out-breath, then you take it a little bit further. You breathe in. Relax everything up above, retain to that point where you think you want to then let it go, and then explore what it's like to sit a little bit more. You'll be able to retain a little bit further. Do that a couple of times. Then you let it go. The regularity is important as opposed to sort of any volume or length of retention. And what you are slowly doing is using the prana to expand its way out into the subtle channels of the body, where it might be experienced as a tingling or as a warmth or as a nectar, because there is a pleasant feeling to it. And you just slowly work that and work out all the kinks in the channels and use it to embrace whatever emotional, conceptual, energetic patterns you meet along the way, and learn to release them without any further grasping onto them. And you'll notice that the mind, when you calm the body down energetically, the mind starts to relax too, so you aren't so apt to approach this whole resolution of your karma conceptually. You'll do it energetically. Short story.
One question. When you're releasing and the prana is going out, the subtle channels, does it go outside of your body?
It does. It does. It goes right out through. Remember when we did the boundless healing meditation? That for a time we were healing everything within ourselves, and at the end of the meditation then we shared that with everybody else in the room. What was that? Prana. Okay?
Is it important during that process for the minding to be very aware or more relaxed?
There is no conflict between being aware and relaxed at the same time. When we get into the mindfulness training, we'll explore that. It seems that they are in conflict with each other, but we'll explore how the very first section, they're coming up in June, we'll explore that. So we'll be more on that point, because it's often perceived that they are opposed to each other. The one thing that's marks the Vajrayana approach is that it's rich with skillful means, because it actually gives methodology for like working with reality the way it's actually, shaped and unfolding, particularly on the way to awakening. There's nothing, airy-fairy mumbo-jumbo here. It's absolutely practical. That's the skill of skillful means in the Vajrayana. Okay? All right. Lovely. Thank you. Great.